Mindly presents 10 signs you might be suffering from PTSD. PTSD is a mental health condition that has slowly amassed greater awareness from the public. Currently affecting 13 million people all over the globe, about 20% of them remain undiagnosed. Hello and welcome back to Mindly. PTSD sneaks upon your very existence without even realizing the trauma that caused your mental health disturbances. It's a ghost and a shadow of its own, but we are here to give you 10 signs that you might be suffering from PTSD. If you relate to more than 5 of the signs that we will be talking about in this video, the first step of treatment is having the courage to acknowledge to yourself that you may have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event that might have caused your PTSD. Without further ado, here are 10 warning signs that you might be suffering from PTSD. Number 10. Trouble falling asleep. According to a recent study, 9 out of 10 people with PTSD are suffering from insomnia, which is the case of having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. The main cause of this is hyperarousal, which makes it difficult for the person to relax and immerse in a breathing space of their own. This is largely due to the notion that it is during these moments of sleep and rest that people feel most vulnerable and helpless, and they think that when they are asleep, they are exposing themselves to greater danger. Having experienced or witnessed a traumatic event prompts the mind and the body to stay alert at all times. You tend to constantly be on the lookout to avoid any possible hazard, and this state does not leave enough room for comfort and rest. Alongside, people with PTSD frequently experience extremely vivid dreams that involve the trauma or themes related to the event, and this may take a toll on their sleeping patterns. Number 9. Difficulty concentrating. People with PTSD are constantly hypervigilant and wary, and they tend to neglect what is happening in the present. They find it hard to complete simple tasks in their everyday lives, mainly because their minds are mostly focused on what-ifs and what could be. Although this is not a sign that there is something wrong with your memory or cognitive abilities, this is a magnified highlight of anxiety. You find it difficult to concentrate because you have this lingering idea or feeling that something will pull you towards a cycle of distress and danger. Because of this, your mind goes around in circles, overanalyzing every detail that may or may not be of importance to you in the present moment. Number 8. Negative alterations in mood. Another sign of PTSD is a difficulty experiencing happiness and joy. This is a simple case of anhedonia, which means that a person is unable to feel pleasure. It also includes neglecting experiences that may bring a sense of satisfaction, for you feel that a single moment of joy comes with twice the devastation and hurt. With PTSD, you constantly feel a heavy burden on your back. You feel as if there is no reason to find positivity and happiness, and you feel a depressed mood creeping under your skin. You do not give yourself the chance to find glee and triumph, mainly because your fear of neglect holds you back from experiencing much of the world. Number 7. Overly negative thoughts and assumptions about oneself. When negative thoughts begin to take control of your life and your mindset, scrutinizing your self-image becomes inevitable. You then start to exaggerate in blaming yourself for the trauma that you experienced. With PTSD, you tend to hate who you are and what you have become. You degrade yourself whenever you have the chance, and you call yourself all these self-derogatory names, thinking that you deserve it all. You think you are the most terrible person in the world, and you assume that because of this, people will want to hurt you or take advantage of you. At other times, you may feel as though you will never be enough and that no one will truly understand you. Feelings of guilt and shame take over, and you beat yourself up for it over and over again. Number 6. Being constantly paranoid. Because PTSD brings out heightened arousal and overvigilance in people, they can never relax and feel safe. For instance, PTSD makes people permanently rigid. Inside their heads, people with PTSD may also think that others will intentionally inflict pain upon them, and that strangers and acquaintances alike will exploit their weaknesses to gain something from them. For some, the opposite condition may apply. Others may constantly seek attention, and they may want to be consistently assured through words of affirmation or physical touch. They may be desperate for any small amount of affection, often to devastating ends. With these instances, you may feel as if safety and security can only be found in other people. This cycle becomes never-ending until you eventually find yourself stuck in a loop of hopelessness and anguish. Number 5. Increased irritability and aggression. After a trauma, many people experience anger. Anger gives them the strength to persevere in the face of difficulty or danger, which in turn helps them deal with the challenges in life. For people with PTSD, outbursts of irritability and anger are inevitable. This is because your emotional and physical feelings become more intense. You may often feel on edge or keyed up, and you may easily be provoked. You may feel as though your life is always threatened, and your responses to all situations are anchored on anger as a natural survival instinct, and you become irrational with your decisions and interaction with the social world. People with PTSD are always angry and easily irritated because they feel like they are defenseless. They are terrified of not knowing other people's intentions, and they are terrified of not knowing what the future will hold. Because of this, many people turn to self-destructive behaviors, and this includes substance abuse, such as in the case of using drugs or drinking too much alcohol. Number 4. Rigid routines. Another sign that you might be suffering from PTSD is being rigid about routines. You mainly stick to what is familiar and habitual because such familiarity makes you feel safe, and it allows you to predict what happens next. While taking comfort in what is familiar is an experience that is common to many, people with PTSD will oftentimes neglect and refuse spontaneity. They find it lackluster and terrifying, and they constantly feel as though engaging in new activities will bring nothing but harm. They impulsively cling to a small number of activities, and unexpected changes in an event trigger a sense of fear and terror in them. In general, their rigid routines allow them to feel safe, but only for a brief moment. Once they realize that even strict routines and schedules do change no matter what they do, they trap themselves in a self-destructive shell. Number 3. Withdrawal from friends and once enjoyed activities. After experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event, it may take several months or years for other people to show signs of PTSD. This is true in the case of withdrawing yourself from friends and family and avoiding activities that you once found joy in. Having PTSD prompts a person to constantly have a feeling that the world is dangerous and that no one can be trusted. People with PTSD are afraid of burdening others, and they may also feel humiliated and have recurring thoughts that others will not understand what they are going through. They may have trouble developing trust and closeness with other people, and they may find it difficult to openly express their emotions or communicate with others. They fail to find complete joy in their hobbies or any recreational activity. This is particularly because they constantly feel a sense of danger chasing them from the back, and deep inside they feel as if they do not deserve a ray of positivity any longer. Number 2. Intrusive and repetitive flashbacks of unwanted memories. One of the signs that carry the most weight in determining PTSD is the act of uncontrollably reliving or re-experiencing the trauma itself. A person may feel as though the trauma is happening in the present moment, losing connection with what is truly happening in the now. This is also known as dissociation, and while some individuals with this symptom may act and speak as if they are experiencing the traumatic event, others may appear to be merely staring out into space. Some will also have flashbacks, which are extremely vivid memories of the trauma they underwent. Flashbacks can appear to be quite strong and real. Although fighting off intrusive flashbacks may be hard, understanding your triggers and where they might be coming from can be a pivotal start. Even emotions and internal feelings too can serve as triggers. and while others may find it easy to pinpoint the detail that prompts the process of dissociation, other people may take some time to identify and recognize their triggers. Number 1. Avoidance. Many PTSD sufferers will work extremely hard to avoid anything that is connected to the trauma they encountered. A survivor from a car accident may avoid getting inside any car at all costs, or a war veteran with PTSD may not go to places where battles or wars have previously occurred. For some, avoiding thoughts, feelings, and memories of the traumatic event becomes a significant marker of this medical condition. People with PTSD also normally feel numb, and they no longer have the capacity to feel love. They may find it difficult to express their emotions, and they consider it an impossibility to determine whether they are pleased, sad, or furious. Furthermore, people with PTSD frequently describe having a sense of impending doom. They believe that their life is cut short and that something terrible will probably happen again soon. They may also believe that they are completely hopeless about the future. In one way or another, most people have experienced some traumatic event that has changed the course of their lives. And although others develop the symptoms of PTSD shortly after the trauma occurred, others do not perceive the condition until several years later. After experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event, it is normal to feel anxious and troubled, and this does not necessarily mean you have PTSD. But when such anxiety and other related signs begin to significantly interrupt the way you live your life, then you might be suffering from the mental health condition. If you think that you have PTSD, do not fret. Once you have found the courage that you have all along, we encourage you to talk with a mental health professional about your struggles and experiences. Know that you are loved and that you deserve a truly safe space in this world. Do you think you might be suffering from PTSD from the signs that we have illustrated in this video? Share your thoughts down below, and you may just find that you are not alone in fighting this battle. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.